Ooh, it's a motocop. I kind of started seeing cops on bikes more recently in the last couple of weeks, actually, maybe month. I don't know. I'm pretty sure they introduced some sort of new program or something for police on motorcycles. So, pretty cool. Guys, welcome to a new video by Rider Infusion, here to hopefully infuse you guys with some good riding content or good content overall. The topic of today's video is going to be all about braking. How to brake properly and correctly on a motorcycle. I actually think I know where he's going. I've got all the respect for police officers and nothing against them at all. They're just doing their job. Got to be nice, friendly with them, and they'll be good with you. Well, you know, I'm cruising here, and I'm waiting for a turn. There are no turns here in Florida. Everything is straight. Everything is flat. Where are the turns? I need them for my video. Yeah, see, I knew he was going to pull over here. I knew it. He kind of hides behind that brush pile right there. And, yeah. Oh, okay, I hate this position. See how that car is hiding behind that other white car? And I moved out to the right to hopefully try to get more visible to that other car that was wanting to cross my lanes. Really watch for those situations, guys. There's a lot of accidents that come from that exact type of situation, which is actually going to be a future video for me. All right, so the first thing that we're going to talk about when it comes down to braking, and that is, number one, do not brake when you are in a turn, when you are in a corner. It could just be you turning in from this street here to another little side street at 10, 15 miles an hour, and that is enough for you to slide out, wipe out, whatever, crash, if you are going into that turn and applying your brakes while you are going into that turn. So watch this. Let me demonstrate. I'm coming into a corner. I am braking right now, putting my bike in the proper gear, letting go of my brake, applying throttle. You gotta have the right speed for when you are going into a corner. Pre-corner is where you have to have the right speed. So here, actually there's gravel right here, so that's kind of something you gotta watch out for. But it's a mistake that a lot of motorcyclists make. They're going into it too fast and they apply brake, whether it be front or rear, mid-turn or, you know, part way into the turn, but they apply their brake and a slide out happens. So here we have a brake or a corner coming up ahead. We're riding, we slow down to the correct appropriate speed and just gentle throttle it out. Gently throttle it out. I always stay away from braking in any corner. Now, that's not to say that that's, you know, you can't do that, because there will be times, moments, situations where you're going into a corner, you didn't think that a corner was going to be as cornerous as it was, and that's okay. But just remember, just know that that is a recipe for a disaster. That is a recipe for a crash. I mean, let's just imagine this road is gravel and I'm straight up and I go for my brakes. I might start sliding. I will if I apply that same amount of brake pressure on a gravel road. I would go into a slide, right? My tires, my wheels, they would lock up and I would be sliding. But because my bike is straight up vertically, I have really good control of the bike. But if I was ever so slightly leaning the bike over and I did the same thing, gosh, it's just instantaneously boom, and you'll just swipe out, slide out just like that. Obviously, it all depends on how fast and how hard you go for your brakes, but generally speaking, that's what's going to happen. Flash my lights so that car can see me. So you guys, that's number one, is please do not brake in a corner, mid-corner, quarter way into the quarter. Do not brake when you are cornering your bike. Now, second thing I want to talk about is quick, hard brake pressure. It's the type of braking that you do when you're out riding and someone pulls out in front of you, someone changes lanes in front of you, and whatever it is, a deer jumps out in front of you, and you go for your brakes. Don't ever just squeeze. But as you're squeezing, slowly, gently apply more brake, apply more power, so that, okay, there's a cop there, kind of distracted me. Try not to just go at them and just squeeze the heck out of them. squeeze your brakes, but start off little, start off slow, and work your way in. Right before where your tires start skidding is where you have the most power when you're braking. And always try to brake with your bike being up vertically. When you're really going at your brakes hard in an emergency type situation, try to straighten out your bike. Try to have your bike be as vertical as it can possibly be in that given situation. You know, you don't want to straighten out the bike and just go off the edge of a cliff, you know, but still try to, you know, straighten out the bike to its most vertical position as far as it will go, as safely as it can be done in that given situation, and apply your brakes hard. But that's something that you see so often, so much of. People just crashing and sliding out because they go for their brakes too quickly and or they're braking while going into a corner, and that's just a recipe for a crash to happen. All right, now we're going to talk about thing number 3 on the list of braking, and that is, what brake should you use, front or rear? Well, the answer to that is you should be using both of your brakes, unless your bike is designed or made in a way to where you go on your front brake and your rear brake applies. This bike actually has that, but if you have that, you don't really have to think about the rear brake as much. But if you don't, and they're really truly just independent, use both front and rear. If you use both front and rear, you're getting a lot of stopping power, especially if your bike is vertical and you got good traction. You're going to get a lot of stopping power. The front brake is what, when applied, the bike jolts, leans forward, and all that weight is being shifted onto that front tire, front wheel, and those front brakes, they're super powerful. Front brakes on motorcycles are really powerful, and when applied correctly, man, it can stop a bike well. I love the quick shifter on this bike. So smooth, so nice, so crispy. Okay, back to braking and using front and rear brakes. And this is something that comes with experience. The more that you ride, you'll catch on as to how your brakes handle in the first place, and you know what to do when. If you lose your front end in a slide, that's kind of game over. If you lose the rear of your bike in a slide, say you're driving, slam on your rear brake, goes into a slide, that is a lot more recoverable. That's recoverable. That's actually, you know, fine and dandy. You can get out of that situation. The front brake, no, if that goes into a slide. But with all that being said, front brake is where your stopping power is. That is where the bite really comes into play on motorcycles when you're going on your brakes. Use your front and rear brake. If I were to break it down into like a percentage, I would say front brake, if you're braking hard, is going to be about 70% power, braking power, and the rear brake's going to be applied at about 30 or 40. Well, if it's 40, then that wouldn't work. So 60-40, 70-30, somewhere around there. And that's something that I also really recommend doing. Go out on some streets, side streets, just get up to speed, 30, 40 miles an hour, and just go on your brakes. But don't just squeeze and hang on and hope for the best. Gently apply pressure and continue to apply more pressure as the bike continues to brake. And practice that. Get used to how your bike handles under crazy, fast, hard braking pressure. All right, you guys, to recap braking fundamentals on a motorcycle. Number 1, don't brake while going into a corner. Front brake or rear brake, don't brake. Get going the right speed pre-corner, pre the moment of time of when you start leaning the bike. Second thing or third thing, I'm not sure. Use both of your brakes, front and rear. Use mostly your front brake and partly your rear brake. That will give you the maximum stopping power. Again, second or third thing, have your bike be as vertical as possible before you start going at your brakes. If you're leaned over any bit and you start going into an emergency braking type situation, the odds of you crashing will be increasing. If you're going in a corner and you need to brake, don't continue going into the corner. Brake, and you can kind of level out the bike, and you'll slow down fast enough or hard enough to where, you know, maybe you'll get off on the shoulder of the road or whatever it is. But, you know, you got to adjust it to the situation. But try to focus on having your bike be vertical before going at your brakes hard. And the next thing on the list is to practice doing hard emergency type braking. Go out on some streets where there are not a lot of cars out on the road and get up to speed 20, 30, 40 miles an hour, maybe 20, 30 to start off with, going a little slower, and go at your brakes. Slowly apply pressure and squeeze until you get to the point of where your tires might start skidding, but they're not. Practice, 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 and it will make everything perfect. If there's anything that you want to add in on this video, to this video, please drop it down or let me know in the comment section below. Any other thoughts or opinions, things you agree or don't agree with, well, let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And, you know, as I sometimes say, let's ride safe to ride another day, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.